वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 13, Dhritarashtra quits home. Text number 6 onwards. Mumuchu prem bashpo gham virhotkanthya katraha raja tamar hayam chakre kritasan parigriham. Due to anxieties and long separation, they all cried out of affection. King Yudhishthira then arranged to offer sitting accommodations and a reception. So this is when Vidurji had come back to Hastinapur to meet Maharaj Yudhishthir and his brother Dhritarashtra. So Maharaj Yudhishthir has received Vidurji, and the following narrations is there. Text 7. Te bhuktavantam vishrantam asinam sukhamasane prashraya vanato raja prahatesham na shrunvatam. After Vidura ate sumptuously and took sufficient rest, he was comfortably seated. Then the king began to speak to him, and all who were present there listened. King Yudhishthira was expert in reception also, even in the case of his family members. Vidura was well received by all the family members by exchange of embraces and obeisances. After that, bathing and arrangements for a sumptuous dinner were made, and then he was given sufficient rest. After finishing his rest, he was offered a comfortable place to sit, and then the king began to talk about all happenings, both family and otherwise. That's a proper way to receive a beloved friend or even an enemy. According to Indian moral codes, even an enemy received at home should be so well received that he will not feel any fearful situation. An enemy is always afraid of his enemy, but this should not be when he is received at home by his enemy. This means that a person, when received at home, should be treated as a relative. So, what to speak of family member like Vidura, who was a well-wisher for all the members of the family. So, this is how Yudhishthira Maharaj received Vidurji. So, when he came, he was given nice place to rest. Sufficient sumptuous dinner was made for him. And when he took rest, so next morning they all sat down together and Yudhishthira Maharaj began to inquire. And Prabhupada is making a very nice point here, although I don't know how practical it is right now. So even an enemy, when he comes home, he should be so well received that he should not feel any fearful situation. These days, even the relative comes, he feels fearful situation. We don't even receive him properly. but but the Vedic tradition was different. Text 8. Yudhishthiruvāca api smarat no yushmat pakshachaya sametitan vipadganad vishagnyo vikshagnader mochita yat samritakaha. Maharaj Yudhishthira said, my uncle, do you remember how you always protected us, along with our mother, from all sorts of calamities? Your partiality, like the wings of a bird, saved us from poisoning and arson. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is reminding Vidura how he protected Pandavas all the time, along with Mother Kunti. Due to Pandu's death at an early age, his minor children and widow were the object of special care by all the elderly members of the family, especially Bhishmadev and Mahatma Vidur. Vidur was more or less partial to the Pandavas due to their political position, although Dhritarashtra was equally careful for the minor children of Maharaj Pandu. He was one of the intriguing parties who wanted to wash away the descendants of Pandu and replace them by raising his own sons to become the rulers of the kingdom. Maharaj Vidur could follow this intrigue of Dhritarashtra and company, and therefore, even though he was a faithful servitor of his eldest brother Dhritarashtra, he did not like his political ambition for the sake of his own sons. He was therefore very careful about the protection of the Pandavas and their widow mother. Thus, he was, so to speak, partial to the Pandavas, preferring them to the sons of Dhritarashtra, although both of them were equally affectionate in his ordinary eyes. So he in the Purport Prabhupada writing that Vidurji always protected, always had a watchful eye for the Pandavas. So he criticized his elder brother for his policy of encouragement to his sons, and at the same time he was always alert in giving special protection to the Pandavas. All these different activities of Vidura within the palace politics made him well known as partial to the Pandavas. Maharaj Yudhishthir has referred to the past history of Vidura before his going away from home for a prolonged pilgrim's journey. Maharaj Yudhishthir reminded him that he was equally kind and partial to his grown up nephews, even after the Battle of Kurukshetra, a great family disaster. So Prabhupada is now writing about the arson and the poisoning, how he protected, how Vidurji protected Pandavas. Before the Battle of Kurukshetra, Dhritarashtra's policy was peaceful annihilation of his nephews, and therefore he ordered Purochan to build a house at Varnavrat. And when the building was finished, Dhritarashtra desired that his brother's family live there for some time. When the Pandavas were going there in the presence of all the members of the royal family, Vidura tactfully gave instructions to the Pandavas about the future plan of Dhritarashtra. This is specially described in Mahabharata Adi Parva 114. He indirectly hinted a weapon not made of steel or any other material element can be more than sharp to kill an enemy, and he who knows this is never killed. That is to say, he hinted that the party of the Pandavas was being sent to Varnavrit to be killed, and thus he warned Yudhishthira to be very careful in their new residential palace. He also gave indications of fire and said that fire cannot extinguish the soul but can annihilate the material body. But one who protects the soul can live. So this Varnavrit, I heard it is near Meerut somewhere. Maybe sometime when we are there, we can visit. Maybe Akanksha, if she is still online, she can help when we visit there. Kunti could not follow such indirect conversations between Maharaj Yudhishthir and Vidur, and thus, when she inquired from her son about the purport of the conversation, Yudhishthir replied that from the talks of Vidura, it was understood that there was a hint of fire in the house where they were proceeding. Later on, Vidura came in disguise to the Pandavas and informed them that the housekeeper was going to set fire to the house on the 14th night of the waning moon. Means it was the Amavasya, it was a new moon night. It was an intrigue of Dhritarashtra that the Pandavas might die all together with their mother. And by his warning, by his warning, by Vidura's warning, the Pandavas escaped through a tunnel underneath the earth, so that their escape was also unknown to Dhritarashtra. So much so that after setting the fire, the Kauravas were so certain of the death of the Pandavas that Dhritarashtra performed the last rites of death with great cheerfulness. And during the mourning period, all the members of the palace were overwhelmed with lamentation. But Vidura did not become so, because of his knowledge that the Pandavas were alive somewhere. There were many such instances of calamities, and each of them Vidura gave protection to the Pandavas on one hand, and on the other, he tried to restrain his brother Dhritarashtra from such intriguing politics. He was always partial to the Pandavas, just as a bird protects its eggs by its wing. So, this palace or the house that was made in Varnavrat, it was It was very grand, but again, it was made of lac. Lac means it catches fire. Just one spark is enough to burn the whole house down. And that is what happened. When Pandavas are living, somehow Vidura found out that Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana and party, they're planning to burn them down on this new moon night. So before that, he gave them the instructions to get out of that place. So again, so Mahabharata is full of so much of politics. Even today's politicians, they must be very ashamed of what they are doing. Whatever happened in Mahabharata that was of much greater politics than what we do today, what we can see today. But still, see how Viduraji protected the Pandavas. And actually, it was Krishna's desire. So Vidurji was always protective. And this is when Pandavas escaped that house. Then they went to Ekchakra, and afterwards, Arjun met Draupadi, and he married Draupadi in the Swayamvar. So somehow, whenever they went through some calamity, some good thing came out of that calamity. Just like in the words it was mentioned that Yudhishthira Maharaj is saying that Vidurji protected them from poisoning. So actually, Duryodhan had under the instructions of Shakuni, he had given poison to Bhima. So Vidurji had already informed, although they were very little that time. He had informed them. He had tried to protect them, and and somehow Bhima was put in the river after he was administered poison. He was given poison, and Bhima in the river. Somehow that river, the path that went to Nagaloka, and Nagaloka, when the different snakes they bit Bhima, Bhima became alive. Because when the snakes bite and the poison is already there, the snakes they take away the poison, something, or maybe there's an antidote to that, something like that. So Bhima became alive and he killed so many snakes. Bhima is powerful from the very birth, he was very powerful. And he killed so many snakes over there, even underwater. He went to Nagloka. And then they took him to the king of Nagloka, and somehow the king had some relationship with the Kunti Bhoj, the father of Kunti. Somehow he was indebted to the king Kunti Bhoj. So he understood this is the son of Kunti who has come here. So he was very happy, and he gave many potions to Bhima for him to become more strong. So ultimately, even the calamity ended up in their favor, in the favor of the Pandavas. So what I'm trying to say is a devotee has nothing to worry about actually. Of all the five Pandavas, they were devotees of Krishna, along with the mother Kunti. Kunti is Bua of Krishna, is aunt of Krishna. So they were completely protected by Krishna. So apparent calamity in their lives actually ended up as a benediction from them. So for a devotee, they should not feel that if they are going through some calamity, some ups and downs in their life, that oh something has happened, bad has happened. Nothing bad has happened. Ultimately, it will be for their benediction, for their for their good only. Because Krishna is trying to test them, and Krishna is arranging something good for them. Because devotees are very dear to Krishna. He will not just let them go away, just like ordinary people. He says in Gita also, Name Bhakta Pranashyati, my devotee never perishes, never. So that faith has to be there. And with that faith, we keep on performing our duties, we keep on performing our sadhana, keep on performing our services, and with full faith, and not just faith, with enthusiasm, keep on performing. And then Krishna will take care of everything. Just like here in case of Pandavas, Krishna had arranged Vidurji to be there to protect Pandavas, to give them all the information from what Dhritarashtra party are, are framing, what they are thinking, what they are trying to do. Even after the game of dice, when the Pandavas went into exile, Vidurji was in constant touch with them and was constantly guiding them on now what to do, now what to do. Nobody knew that he was in touch. So this is how he protected the Pandavas. And anybody, although Vidurji is a Dharmaraj, incarnation of Yamraj himself, and he's a Mahajan, Yamraj is a Mahajan, but Vidurji, because of his service, because of his um, giving protection to the devotees of Krishna, Krishna was very much satisfied, very pleased by Vidurji. So this is another thing that we have to understand, that any service done to a devotee of the Lord will never go in vain. Krishna will always notice. Krishna always notices that. So couple of things we have to take from this purport. Text 9. Kaya vritya vartitam vascharabhi kshitimandalam tirthani kshetra mukhyani sevitani bhutale. While traveling on the surface of the earth, how did you maintain your livelihood? At which holy places and pilgrimage sites did you render service? Vidura went out from the palace to detach himself from the household affairs, especially political intrigues. As referred to herein before, he was practically insulted by Duryodhan's calling him a son of Shudrani, although it was not out of place to talk loosely in the case of one's grandmother. Vidura's mother, although Shudrani, was the grandmother of Duryodhana, and funny talks are sometimes allowed between grandmother and grandchildren. But because the remark was an actual fact, it was unpalatable talk to Vidura, and it was accepted as a direct insult. He therefore decided to quit his paternal house and prepare for the renounced order of life. This preparatory stage is called Vanprastha Ashram, or retired life, for traveling and visiting the holy places on the surface of the earth. In the holy places of India, like Vrindavan, Haridwar, Jagannath Puri, and Prayag, there are many great devotees, and they are still free kitchen houses for persons who desire to advance spiritually. Maharaj Yudhishthira was inquisitive to learn whether Vidura maintained himself by the mercy of the free kitchen houses, which are called Chhatras. So at all these holy places, there's so many rich people. They run these dharmshalas and free kitchen houses where they provide free meals to all the sadhus living there. Because people in Vanprastha ashram, they're supposed to just start preparing for sannyas life. So they're not supposed to keep a kitchen and do the groceries, whatever. They're supposed to live simply and dedicate their life to sadhana, to tapasya, because they have done enough work in Grihastha ashram for so many years, so they have to get detached. So they have to start preparing for sannyas life. So that is Vanprastha ashram. Wonderful verse, this text, 10th verse. Bhavadvida Bhagavatansa Tirthabhuta Swam Vibhu Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthani Swanthasthen Gadabhrita. My Lord, devotees like your good self are verily holy places personified. Because you carry the personality of Godhead within your heart, you turn all places into places of pilgrimage. So Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthani Swantasthen Gadabhrita. Yudhishthira Maharaj is saying, because devotees like your good self are verily holy places personified. Why? Because you carry the personality of Godhead within your heart. But anybody can say, hey, Paramatma is in the heart of everybody. So what does it mean? Only Vidurji is carrying personality of Godhead in his heart? Well, what it means is actually Vidurji is well aware of Krishna being present in his heart. Most of us are not even aware of that Paramatma is sitting in our heart. Vidurji is well aware of, and he is dedicated, devoted to the Supreme Lord. So a person like that who is so advanced, like in the sixth chapter of Bhagavad Gita also we are studying, a yogi, what's a perfect yogi? He's constantly meditating on the Paramatma in his heart. So Vidurji is constantly aware of that, and he is dedicated, he is completely devoted. So wherever he goes, he turns that place into Tirtha, into the place of pilgrimage. And this very much goes with the Srila Prabhupada. Well, Prabhupada came to New York uh, and other places of America, and when he traveled all over the world, because he was such a pure devotee, every place he went to, it actually became a tirtha. New York, when he was there, he told his disciples, although I am feeling separation from Vrindavan, but still, wherever I am, the Vrindavan is there. I'm not away from Vrindavan. So that is Prabhupada. And also one time, I think it was in 77 only, there was this Kumbh Mela in Allahabad. And Prabhupada had gone there in January, February of 77, along with his disciples to attend Kumbh Mela. And he was there for quite some time in the tent that was arranged for ISKCON. And he was still doing his translation activities every day, and translation and writing commentaries. So one person who knew Prabhupada from when he was living in Allahabad earlier, he came to meet Prabhupada. And when he came to meet Prabhupada in his tent, so this person had brought a bowl, a big bowl, and he had a like a small bottle of water. And he was talking to Prabhupada, and then he asked Prabhupada, "I want to bathe your lotus feet with this water." And Prabhupada very happily he just extended his feet in that bowl, and this person he just took the water from the bottle and poured on Prabhupada's lotus feet, and he collected them in that bowl. And Prabhupada is happily watching what is he doing. And then he said to Prabhupada that Swamiji, I know you're not going to go and take bath in Kumbh Mela, like take bath at Sangam. I know that. Although Prabhupada was in Kumbh Mela, he never went to take bath at Sangam. And this person said, now I will go and empty this contents of this bowl, the water in the bowl, in Sangam. And then Sangam will get the potency to deliver or to remove the sins of everybody who takes bath there. So this is the potency of a devotee. In fact, in the beginning of Kali Yuga, Gangaji went to Krishna and personified Gangaji, and she went to Krishna. She said, Krishna, you are leaving, and you're leaving going back to your abode, spiritual abode, but you're leaving us here. And what will I do here? It is Kali Yuga. People are so sinful. They'll come and take bath in my waters, and they leave all their sins in my water. I have to carry sins of so many people in Kali Yuga. Krishna said that is true. So many sinful people in Kali Yuga will come, and they'll leave their sins in your water. But at the same time, so many of my devotees will also come and take bath in your water. And when they take bath in your water, they'll purify you. So that is the power of a devotee. Devotees even purify Mother Ganges. Ganges. Of course, we don't start believing that we are going to Ganges to purify Ganges. We go to purify ourselves. we, so just because we've been chanting for a few months or few years, don't think we have become get devotee of such a caliber. This is Maharaj Yudhishthir talking to Vidurji, because Vidurji is of that caliber. Of course, we should aspire to become a devotee of that caliber. That is that's a goal of all of us. So let's see what Prabhupada says in the Prabhupada. The personality of Godhead is omnipresent by his diverse potencies everywhere, just as the power of electricity is distributed everywhere within space. Similarly, the Lord's omnipresence is perceived and manifested by his unalloyed devotees like Vidura, just as electricity is manifested in an electric bulb. A pure devotee like Vidura always feels the presence of the Lord everywhere. He sees everything in the potency of the Lord, and the Lord in everything. The holy places all over the earth are meant for purifying the polluted consciousness of the human being by an atmosphere surcharged with the essence of the Lord's unalloyed devotees. If anyone visits a holy place, he must search out the pure devotees residing in such holy places, take lessons from them, try to apply such instructions in practical life, and thus gradually prepare oneself for the ultimate salvation, going back to Godhead. So, this is the purpose of visiting a holy place, visiting a tirtha, visiting a dham, is to take lessons from sadhu, take lessons from devotees, and to apply such instructions in practical life. Not going to Vrindavan Dham or Jagannath Puri Dham or the dhams and seek out where is a nice lassi and where is the best tikki available in this place. But that's all we do. Of course, Jagannath Puri, when you go and eat Mahaprasad of Lord Jagannath, that's a different story. That is completely different story. But the idea is we should go there to purify ourselves. To go to some holy place of pilgrimage does not mean only to take a bath in the Ganges or Yamuna or to visit the temples situated in those places. One should also find representatives of Vidura who have no desire in life save and except to serve the personality of Godhead. The personality of Godhead is always with such pure devotees because of their unalloyed service, which is without any tinge of fruitive action or utopian speculation. They are in the actual service of the Lord, specifically by the process of hearing and chanting. The pure devotees hear from the authorities and chant, sing, and write of the glories of the Lord. Mahamuni Vyasadeva heard from Narad and then he chanted in writing. Shukdev Goswami studied from his father and he described it to Parikshit. That is the way of Srimad Bhagavatam. So by their actions, the pure devotees of the Lord can render any place into place of pilgrimage. And the holy places are worth the name only on their account. So why they can turn any place in the place of pilgrimage? Because wherever they are just busy in hearing and chanting. Shravan and Kirtan of the glories of the Lord, of the holy names of the Lord. So any place can be turned into a tirtha or dham by the mercy of pure devotees. Just like Prabhupada when he was in US or when he established temples all over the world. Like in USA, he established this new Vrindavan. And he said this place is non-different from real Vrindavan. New Vrindavan, new Dwarkadham, and so many other places he established. Because he said the Lord is here, devotees are here, they're serving the Lord, they're chanting the names of the Lord, we are discussing topics of Srimad Bhagavatam, the scriptures, Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. Devotees are living according to the instructions of Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. So it's non-different from the real Tirtha, real Dham. So this is what Yudhishthira Maharaj is speaking about Vidurji and is glorifying Vidurji. So I'll stop here, see anybody has any questions or comments.
Vidur Prabhu ki jai.
Come on, man.
Jai.
Okay, any serious question or comment?
That was very serious, Prabhu. You had the qualities of Vidur Prabhu.
Okay. So, Akanksha, you have to find out this place where Varnavat was, that place where they tried to burn Pandavas alive in the fort. And next time we come to Meerut, you have to show us around.
Vijay, which one?
Varnavrat, where Duryodhan tried to burn Pandavas in that palace, in the fort, some places there.
Okay.
It is near Meerut, I know that, but I don't know exactly where it is.
I think Sandeep Prabhuji knows.
Okay.
He's saying that, yes, I know.
Okay, okay. So next time we come, you have to show us around.
Bilkul. Yes. Hare Krishna. Bol.
Hare Krishna. Okay, you all have a wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri
Thank you,
Prabhupada.
Prabhuji. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Krishna Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.